Now is the time where we are going to shift this call to a very special sparkling protein kickoff. Yes, our Senior Director of Scientific Affairs and Product Innovation. Hi, Erin.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Adriana. Good to
Hi.
be here.
I know you had your little baby go off to school too. First day of middle school.
My oldest started middle school. They're getting so
Big
big.
boy.
I
Big
know.
boy.
But I told Adriana he held my hand when he walked up to school. So yeah.
Keep holding that hand as long as you can, girl. Okay, so everyone, today what we're going to do is we are going to cover three simple things because we want you to really understand what this product is about, how special it is. So we're going to talk about what it is, why it's worth the price, and how you can share it in just super simple, powerful ways. So at the end of this training, we want you to know exactly, how to talk about sparkling protein with confidence. You're going to be excited about it and credibility. So let's start at the top, Erin. Tell us I know this is not just your average grocery store sparkling protein. So tell us exactly what this product is.
Okay, so our sparkling protein, it is a lemon lime flavored sparkling water, but it delivers functional benefits beyond just hydration. So of course it's going to hydrate you, but then it has 40 grams of protein. So when we talk about what really sets this product apart from other sparkling proteins or even just sparkling waters on the market, we're going to speak to the protein that is used. So it's the 40 grams of next generation whey protein. And we'll talk specifically about the BLG or beta lactoglobulin protein that we use in this product. The second thing that really sets it apart is that it's clinically tested. We know this is something that's commonplace at Shaklee, but not commonplace at most companies, right? So we tested this product and we have the evidence that one, it is digested and used by the body. That's really important. No other products on the market have the proof that the protein is actually absorbed and utilized by the body. And then we also have the evidence that it naturally boosts GLP-1. So we'll go into the details on this one, but that's that hormone that sends a signal to your brain that tells you you're full, so you feel satisfied and satiated after consuming the sparkling protein. It has added leucine, and then the other thing that really sets this product apart is its quality standards. So again, we're going to speak to those 3 points of difference that really set it apart, the type of protein we're using, that it's clinically tested, and then the quality standards that we apply to this product, which of course is, again, something that we do with every single product here at Shaklee. But I want to talk specifically about those quality standards that we have for the sparkling protein.
And Erin, let me add one more thing before we get into BLG is that this product, you are not only getting 40 grams of protein, but you are getting that for only 160 calories. So a lot of products out there will claim to be high protein, but you pay for it in the calories. So I'm going to tell a little story this weekend. It's back to school. We did back to school shopping. Of course, I have to stop at the Starbucks because, it's hours long. And so I got, because I'm on a protein kick like all of us, so I got the Starbucks protein cold brew. So I always get a cold brew, but now you could get a protein enriched cold foam on top. So I definitely paid close to $8 for it. And I had to look it up after because it has 16 grams of protein for 260 calories. So I got 1 gram of protein for 16 calories. Now, our sparkling protein, you get 1 gram of protein for only 4 calories. So you're getting a lot more protein for fewer calories. So that in itself as well kind of takes it a little bit more to an elevated space. But like you said, we are here because we're always going to keep it real with you guys, and we are going to call out the elephant in the room because we want you ready to talk about, yes, the price. Erin said it, why it's worth it. It is those three things. Remember it. BLG, it is a superior protein source. We clinically test it and our quality and safety standards. Those are the three things. So Erin, we keep hearing BLG and it's like, what is that? Why is that so special? Can you tell us about BLG?
So I'm going to step back just a little bit because there are some fun storylines with the protein that we have in this product. So we actually get our protein. It is a whey-based protein, so it comes from dairy cows. But these aren't just any dairy cows. This is Shaklee. So these are actually dairy cows from Europe. So all of the cows that we get our milk from are grazing on the pastures in Europe. They are
Oh.
grass-fed, as I mentioned, they're pasture raised. That milk that we're getting the whey from, it's non-GMO. So a lot of great stories that you can tell with the whey protein that we're including in the sparkling protein. Now, if you show that slide really quickly, I think Kathy's running it.
And clearly Europe has a lot higher standards in all types of products, way higher testing standards, ingredient standards, safety standards. So that's means a lot. Yeah.
So, milk has two main protein types. There's whey and there's casein. So we are using whey for sparkling protein. Now, if you look at this pie chart, whey is actually composed of a couple different fractions. It has beta lactoglobulin, or BLG for short, which is what we use in our sparkling protein. It also has alpha lactoglobulin, which is the lighter green, 20% of whey, and then this other fraction. These are really anti-nutrients, so things that don't necessarily have any nutritional value. So what we do first is we remove that 50%, those anti-nutrients. So that removes the fat, that removes the lactose. So if you are sensitive to lactose, this does have 0 grams of lactose. Yes, it is a dairy-based protein, but it does have 0 grams of lactose because we remove the fat, we remove the lactose. So then what we are left with is the BLG and then that alpha lactoglobulin. And then we do this really cool filtering process. And most filtering process, they use harsh chemicals, but we actually use a multi-step water-based. So it's exclusively using water, a very, very natural process to isolate that BLG, the beta lactoglobulin. So then what you're left with is the BLG, and we concentrate it. So it's really, really concentrated BLG. And then that's what goes into our sparkling protein. Okay. I know I've gotten this, I'm going to just highlight this really quickly because I've gotten this question quite a few times is why do we use whey? Why didn't we use pea or soy or another plant-based protein? So one thing is because of all of that water-based filtering, BLG, it's crystal clear. So it works really, really well in a sparkling beverage. It also has a very neutral taste, whereas plant-based proteins, they kind of, I don't want to say have an off taste, but it just doesn't work as well in a sparkling beverage. And then also BLG, it dissolves really, really nicely, whereas plant-based proteins, they don't dissolve as well, so they can kind of clump. So that's the reason that we used whey and specifically the BLG. And to hit on, if we go to the next slide, the reason why we used whey, or the BLG component of whey, is twofold. So first is because it's naturally richer in all of the essential amino acids, including those branched chain amino acids and including leucine. And we all know why that's important, right? Because those amino acids, those building blocks of the protein, that's what our body uses to build every single one of the proteins in our body. So it's being used to build our muscle. It's being used to build all those structural proteins like collagen and keratin. It's used to build all the body, functional proteins like hormones and enzymes and neurotransmitters. So again, that BLG, it's just naturally richer in all of the essential amino acids. So if you look at this pie chart, you can see a standard whey, about 10% of that is coming from, is contributing to leucine. Whereas with BLG, 15% is leucine. And then the total amino acid content, essential amino acid content of whey is about 40% versus over 50% for BLG. So it's just, again, naturally richer in all of those essential amino acids. And then the other thing that makes this so special is that BLG, it's actually digested and absorbed, and you'll see this in our clinical results, it's digested and absorbed a little bit more slowly. So your body can utilize it for a much longer period of time. So if you look at other products on the market, they use commonly whey protein isolates, they use collagen. Those protein sources, they're absorbed quickly. You see a quick spike in those amino acids in your blood. Your cells take them up really quickly and use them, but then they're gone. So your body can only utilize that protein for, a short period of time. But again, that BLG, it's absorbed slowly. those amino acids stay elevated in your blood for a long time so your body can use them for, over hours. And that's why, our body can actually use all 40 of those grams of protein because it's digested slowly, absorbed, and then, over several hours. So our body can utilize all 40 of those grams of protein.
That's huge. So basically, BLG is like the filet mignon of protein.
Yeah.
And other ones are like fast food versions. So I love that. Richer in all essential amino acids, your body is going to actually use it. It's going to last a long time. And I think that's interesting as well, that clean filtration system. So it's only using water, no heat, no extreme processing with chemicals. That kind of keeps it, very clean and a really great source. So I love that. So
And it's coming from
BLG,
happy
check.
cows, happy
Huh?
cows. And it's coming from those happy cows,
And
right?
it's coming from happy cows. We love that.
Mhm.
So BLG, it's like gold standard, Mercedes-Benz, like it's you can't even touch it. So the second reason you talked to us, you said, and you're right, this is a very Shaklee difference. It is something that we do. It's not only superior, but we do the clinical testing we did it on this actual drink, right?
Yep, we tested this actual drink. So we partnered with a clinical research organization. They're called BioFortis Research, and we are going to have a nice white paper for you all to share for those people who want to have all the details of this clinical study, and we hope to publish it as well soon after. But what we did, this is just a single-use study. So we had people come into the hospital and they just drink 1 can of sparkling protein. And then after they drink it, we did a blood draw. So we drew blood from their arm 30 minutes after they drink it, an hour and a half, and then 2 hours after they drink that full can of sparkling protein. And we used that blood to look at two things. So first we looked at the appearance of those amino acids in the blood. So that's going to tell that whole narrative I just explained that it's bioavailable. Your body's actually absorbing it so that it can be utilized to build all of those essential body proteins. And then we also use that blood to look at GLP-1 levels. And then we had the people fill out just a nice little questionnaire, subjective questionnaire at those same time points, 30 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, and 2 hours after drinking that can. And in that survey, they told us, how full they felt, how hungry they felt, how satisfied. So just questions linking those GLP-1 levels to actual satiety. Okay.
Awesome.
And I should say
Let me,
there were 12 people. I get this question a lot too. We enrolled 12 people in the study, but for those who aren't familiar with power calculations, there are statisticians that are part of the research team that figure out exactly how many people you need to enroll. And they always enroll a few more to make sure that we can see a significant effect. So 12 people is more than enough for this type of study to see a significant effect with the things that we looked at. So,
and Erin,
yeah.
just for everyone to know, we're actually also currently doing a consumer study with around 20 to 25 of our ambassadors. So we will be having those results in a few weeks. So even more data and proof.
Okay, so the first thing that we looked at, as I mentioned, is the appearance of those branch chain amino acids in the blood. So you can see we saw an increase in branch chain amino acids after 30 minutes, and then that slow, steady rise. So
Mhm.
again, this is a distinction with that BLG. It's being absorbed, so we know it's bioavailable, but those levels of amino acids stay elevated in the blood for up to, 2 hours. And then we see they're starting to be taken up by the cells so the body can use them to build all those body proteins. And you can see here that by 90 minutes, there's a 291% increase. So this is incredibly bioavailable. We're seeing a significant rise in those amino acids in the blood an hour and a half after drinking that full can of the sparkling protein.
And that's partly due, you had mentioned before with the BLG. So because of the quality, that superior protein we're using, we are seeing we're seeing the results like this.
Right. And then that percentage, remember we talked about one of the differences is it's naturally rich in all of those essential amino acids. So a larger percentage of that protein is essential amino acids. And we're seeing that reflected in that huge, almost 300% increase in
Wow.
those amino acids in the blood.
Awesome. I mean, guys, this is a functional drink. This is not some sparkling drink with some little protein, sprinkled in. This is a true functional drink. Let's go to the next slide where we found very powerful GLP-1 impact.
Okay, so the other thing we looked at is GLP-1 levels in the blood. So
Mhm.
this is a hormone. So natural, our body is very smart. It's naturally produced in our body. So when we eat food, especially protein, and then that protein enters our GI tract, our body says, "Oh, we've just eaten." So it produces this hormone GLP-1 that then sends a signal to your brain that says, "Hey, I just ate, so I should stop eating." So what we saw in this study is that sparkling protein is naturally increasing GLP-1 levels in the blood. So we see a quick rise within just 30 minutes and then a continued steady increase for up to 2 hours. So by 2 hours, we saw a 47% increase in GLP-1 levels in the blood. Now, this doesn't look as big as 291%, but I want to level set because if you look at a typical meal, so 550 to 650 calories, you see a similar increase in GLP-1 levels. So around 45, 50%
Wow.
increase with a 550 to 650 calorie meal. As Adriana mentioned earlier, this is just 160 calories. But because it has those 40 grams of protein, we're seeing a similar natural increase in GLP-1 as you would see with a typical like full meal.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then we have one more slide on the more like everyday how I'm feeling results.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure because this is, that's a very objective measure. Like, okay, yeah, these hormones are increasing, but am I actually fuller?
That's
So
right.
we asked people in surveys, questionnaires, how hungry they felt at various time points after drinking the sparkling protein. And we saw that after just 30 minutes, so really quickly, over 90% reported that they had little to no desire to eat. By an hour, 100%. So every single person reported they had little to no desire to eat. And still at 2 hours, two-thirds were comfortably full with low hunger and little to no desire to eat.
Wow. So clearly, we've done the clinical testing. Shaklee, always, we invest in you so you can invest in your health. That's kind of how I want you to think about this product, right? So we've heard it's been clinically shown highly absorbable. Your body is actually using that protein. It's not only naturally boosting those GLP-1 levels, but they're keeping them elevated. And I was not a part of this study, but let me tell you, I drink this drink and it truly does. It's shocking how much it does keep you full. Like you are satiated. You feel like nice and solid. So we do not make claims. We make guarantees. Let me tell y'all something. So with that, let's transition to that third reason why sparkling protein stands out in the marketplace. Our commitment to clean and safe ingredients. So, Erin, talk to us about some quality and testing information.
Sure.
Okay.
Do you want to go to the next slide really quickly, Kathy? Okay. So again, another thing that's very commonplace at Shaklee, but not everywhere else. So I do want to highlight just how rigorously we test the finished product, that can of sparkling protein, as well as the ingredients in it. So you'll see in that first bullet, or I guess that's not a bullet, the first point, every batch undergoes 199 tests. Okay, now let me level set for this. There aren't a lot of ingredients in this product, right? This is a very simple product. So the fact that we're doing 199 tests on a very simple product, I mean, just speaks volumes. So these tests are for safety, they're for quality, they're for efficacy, they're for potency. So we want to make sure, one, that there's nothing in it you don't want in it, but two, that what we say is in it is actually in it. So we're testing for things like heavy metals. I know that's a hot button topic,
Yeah.
contaminants. So again, 199 tests to make sure that your products are safe and they're of the highest quality. And then, as Adriana has mentioned, clean ingredients. So no artificial sweeteners, fillers, unnecessary additives. This has 0 grams of sugar along with that, 40 grams of protein. We use plant-based, 0 calorie, sweeteners. We have monk fruit, we have Reb M, and then as we've talked about a few times, just that premium protein. These are those happy cows coming from Europe. They're grass-fed. The protein is non-GMO. So really, really high quality protein. And then of course, all the benefits that come with that high quality protein that we spoke to earlier.
So good. This is, to me, this is where Shaklee shines. You can all feel confident not only about knowing what's not in our products, but just as much as what is in our products. So all of those drinks with sucralose, low grade, untested, unfiltered, generic, mass-produced protein sources, they don't guarantee great results. And I'm sorry, Erin, I'm sorry, you know me. I may be a little bit bougie with this, but I do not personally, I do not want some Sprite Zero with some protein sprinkled in it. This is a different level. This is just something completely on a different stage. So lot of great information, Erin. When people talk about, what makes this product so different? What makes it worth it? Again, those were those three topics, okay? That was the fact that we have a superior protein source, BLG, clinical testing, and that quality and safety standards. This is the time. Dr. Erin, thank you so much. That was such good information.
Welcome. Always happy to be here.
I love it. Okay, everyone. Well, thank you all so much. I hope you